Thank you for keeping it on the DL that I was there, Frosty Poo. Thanks for convincing me to not post the Epstein list. I know that would have landed you in hot water.
Chat. Thank you. Gilman. Did I fly too close to the sun on that one? Gilman, you actually brought up a topic. You actually brought up a topic that I like questioned talking about today. I questioned talking about the Epstein stuff today on stream, right? Because I think that there's a lot of humor behind the whole Epstein saga and everything that's going on. Anybody that doesn't know, before Trump got elected, he ran on one big thing. I'm going to release the Epstein files, the Epstein list. Who was on the Epstein list? I'm going to do it. And everybody goes, yeah, let's vote for him so we can get this information out there. And then he gets into office and he makes everybody pose, takes a bunch of right-wing influencers out there and they pose with a file that says the Epstein list. And they all go, we read it, we know it. He's going to release it soon. The Epstein list is crazy. You guys want to see this? It's so sick. And then and then from there is FBI director that he elected, Kash Patel, that has one of the most daunting stares I've ever seen in my entire life. It's like, we've got the tapes. We're going to release them. You're going to want to see this. Pam Bondi's like, I got it on my desk. This shit's crazy. And then Kash Patel says that we're going to release the tape. Here it is. It's unedited, completely unbiased. And then we noticed that there's a minute missing from every single night at midnight. It goes from 1:59 and it hits 1:59 and then immediately jumps to 12. And we're like, what the hell? Where's that minute? And it's every single day. And they say it's old footage, but don't worry, it's undoctored footage. And then we look at the metadata and it's like, actually it was edited in Adobe Premiere and it was exported 4 different times. So it's completely changed. And then Donald Trump goes, oh, what the hell? What are we supposed to do? Why are we still talking about Epstein? We shouldn't talk about Epstein. Till last night, he said, guys, why are we still talking about Epstein? We have the Epstein list, but it was doctored by Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, who notably, Hillary Clinton's husband is on the list. Why would she not just edit that out? Anyways, it's funny, right? It's funny to make fun of it because it's a crazy, stupid, insane, system of events. And it's like all started with us not believing that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself in prison, right? I think that the whole saga of that is funny. But then I started thinking about it more this morning, and it's like this stemmed from Jeffrey Epstein killing himself and all of us not believing that he killed himself because it's very clear that he didn't kill himself. And then it like weirdly became that the internet was like trying to go to bat for Jeffrey Epstein in some way of like, he didn't kill himself. Trust me. Like all this evidence, like we're going to bat to like prove Jeffrey Epstein's didn't kill, like his this more nefarious thing happened. It seemed like the internet was like trying to be in a way on Jeffrey Epstein's side on this one specific topic. And I just feel like we got so far away from the point that this had to do this entire time with raping children. And so that's why I was like, although the jokes are so funny and we're going to continue to make the jokes, I just think
that 1 minute break in the footage is me bringing in my 100 butt plugs.
See? And I get it. And I think we should continue to joke about it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that the jokes are unallowed or whatever. I think that the way that we joke, the way that we deal with a lot of trauma in the world is through joking about it. But I had the idea to come on and do a second channel video about the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing.
A whole lot of red hats are finally thinking Trump lied to them, as if he hasn't lied tens of thousands of times before.
Yeah, and that's, I think that the whole world being against him is going to be good, and it's probably going to push the things to come out. But now that he set the seed that his own believers shouldn't believe the list when it comes out, I think that it's going to not help anything.
I think the jokes aren't supporting Epstein, just more pointing the insanity of the cover-up.
No. Again, I don't know. I just think that oftentimes the jokes, like what I'm saying is I forgot the real issue, you know? Like I forgot how serious the Epstein list is. That's what I'm saying, is that I think that sometimes the jokes continue to joke so much that it ends up being a feigned cover-up of the overall issue. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that the joke shouldn't happen, but I was thinking about coming on here today and making a funny second channel video, memeing and clowning on that. I was prepping for that, right? I was prepping to make a second channel video about how silly and goofy it is. but I just had the thought of like, damn, I forgot the plot. Like, I think that at some point, and that's their idea. That's what they want to do. Not the joking part of things, but that's what they want to do, is their whole goal is to desensitize us.
I watched the Moist critical video and it made
I
me
didn't
really
watch it. Did
think
he talk about
it
a similar
yesterday as
thing?
well.
Did he talk about a similar thing? Damn, maybe me and Charlie are on the same page. I'm not short though. But yeah, I think that that's what they want to do. Right? There's like an idea in the content creation sphere that anytime that you go through any sort of controversy, and I don't want to equate this again to the same thing as this specific Jeffrey Epstein thing, but they say that the best thing that you can do in any sort of controversy is to ignore it and to not address it, or address it in the smallest way possible and then move on. And then eventually people stop talking about it, or the narrative gets skewed so much from all the jokes and from all the rhetoric talking about it and from all the conspiracies that come out from it. And then people stop believing in it because of the conspiracies and because of the jokes and because of the, oh, if there was something, they would have talked about it. And so I wanted to be silly. I wanted to be goofy. But I just didn't feel like I wanted, like after I had that thought of shit, I lost the plot. Like shit, I forgot what all of this was about. I didn't even plan on talking about this, but then the joke got brought up and I thought it would be an excellent jumping off point. So I guess thank you for the joke for that reason, Gilman. Thanks in that respect. And again, I have no problem with joking about and making light of situations that are so absurd in that affect our very personal lives, like what our government is doing, in order to be able to cope with it. Because I think everybody's making the jokes in the right way that isn't making light of the victims and are making light of the fuckers that should be or already are buried in the ground. Yo, Frost Prime from the future offline here. I wanted to add to the end of this, not just to push the video over the 8-minute mark, but because honestly, I think I was pretty wrong in this video, or at least literally since I talked about that on stream a few days ago. A lot of people in my corner of the internet, and I just think that in the internet in general, are getting a lot more serious about things. And so I think by them pushing their more serious rhetoric, it is making the general feel of the entire topic a lot more serious. And I think that that's extremely good. I think that that's what needs to happen. I think we need to not lose the plot about how serious this is. And I think that I was wrong. And I don't think that people have lost the plot of how serious this is. Just maybe I did. I don't know. Maybe I got too caught up in the jokes and wanted to suppress how fucked up this situation is. But I'm really happy that it feels like the internet as a whole, and at least everybody from my corner, is starting to push even harder for this not to just get buried under the rug, not to just let one of the most heinous things in potentially our entire government's history to just get swept under the rug, because it does seem like there's going to be implications of everybody on every side of the aisle, and it needs to not just get pushed. Because I think it was in the 2016 election that Jeffrey Epstein told his brother that if I said what I know about the two people running for office, they would have to cancel the election. We need things to come out. Been wanting a restructuring of our government for a really long time. Maybe that's the jumping off point. I don't know. These are just my morning thoughts. It's like 8 a.m. and I'm just rambling at my computer, but I wanted to say that I have, after looking a little bit deeper on my end of the internet, and especially from creators like Moist Critical and Ludwig recently with his MAGA mail, yeah, just a lot of people talking about it in a very serious way. And I didn't even know if I wanted to upload a video about this entire topic, even after I talked about it extensively on stream, because again, I don't feel like I'm adding anything to the situation, but I am. What I'm adding is more pressure. And I think that more people need to use their voices in order to add more pressure in this situation. More people that speak up is the more pressure that is put on the government, and eventually the pressure gets so much that they can't not respond. And yeah, they're probably going to respond in some way that tries to wash it all away, and they're not implicated in any way, even though we know. But there just needs to be more done, and I am glad that so many other people are speaking up. So I apologize for the rambling mess interrupted by TTS, but it's just my form of getting something out there to not stay silent on everything. So, goodbye.
He's an arsonist on a noble quest to escape the wrath of the IRS. He's got conflicting positions in the endless fight for queer folks and